Okay, we make code right here. Open it up. You can see. Oh, I don't think you can see. Here we go. My help code. My knife code. Here. So, I'm not gonna use it when people done hack. Use it before hacking. Yeah. Let me change my name real quick. Take too long. I also want to tell you guys, I got banned. So, no. Okay, here's my name. Doesn't matter, that's now. Code. An ID. Oops, let me hide my password a little bit. Okay, here we go. So now I got banned again. Look. 7 day. Yeah. Corruption ID. Not freaking work. Yeah, still made it with my code. See you there, okay.